7 bankruptcies. Aston Martin survived. How? Severe debt. Massive losses. Still thriving. What's behind this? You'll find out. By the end of this story. Aston Martin's secrets revealed. Their struggles exposed. The truth finally told. Aston Martin's history is marked by turmoil. David Brown bought Aston Martin in 1947. He paid £60,000. A significant amount then. Brown's vision was clear. He wanted to create a sports car. Something unique. The DB2 was born. Launched in 1950. It was a huge success. But success was short-lived. Aston Martin faced financial difficulties. Brown struggled to keep the company afloat. He invested heavily. But it wasn't enough. Aston Martin's first bankruptcy loomed. It happened in 1959. The company was on the brink of collapse. But Brown refused to give up. He found new investors. Aston Martin was saved. Temporarily. The company's financial struggles continued. Aston Martin changed hands several times. New owners brought new ideas. But the financial struggles persisted. Aston Martin's second bankruptcy occurred in 1969. The company was in chaos. But still, they managed to produce iconic cars. The DB5, for example. Made famous by James Bond. It was a huge success. But the company's financial woes continued. Aston Martin's third bankruptcy happened in 1972. The company was on the verge of collapse. Again. But still, they managed to survive. Aston Martin's story is one of perseverance. Of never giving up. Despite the odds. The company continued to produce incredible cars. The V8, for example. Launched in 1969. It was a huge success. But the financial struggles continued. Aston Martin's fourth bankruptcy occurred in 1974. The company was in shambles. But still, they managed to find new investors. Aston Martin was saved. Again. The company's financial struggles continued. Aston Martin changed hands several times. New owners brought new ideas. But the financial struggles persisted. Aston Martin's fifth bankruptcy happened in 1981. The company was on the brink of collapse. Again. But still, they managed to survive. Aston Martin's story is one of determination. Of never giving up. Despite the odds. The company continued to produce iconic cars. The Lagonda, for example. Launched in 1974. It was a huge success. But the company's financial woes continued. Aston Martin's sixth bankruptcy occurred in 1993. The company was in chaos. But still, they managed to find new investors. Aston Martin was saved. Again. The company's financial struggles continued. Aston Martin changed hands several times. New owners brought new ideas. But the financial struggles persisted. Aston Martin's seventh bankruptcy happened in 2003. The company was on the verge of collapse. Again. But this time, something was different. A new owner, Ford, had a new plan. A plan to save Aston Martin once and for all. But would it work? The company's future was uncertain. Aston Martin's survival depended on it. The plan was to invest heavily in the company. To produce new cars. To increase sales. To make Aston Martin profitable again. But it wouldn't be easy. The company faced stiff competition. From Ferrari, Porsche, and others. Aston Martin had to be better. Had to be faster. Had to be more luxurious. The pressure was on. The company's future was at stake. Aston Martin's survival depended on their ability to adapt. To change. to evolve. But how would they do it? That's what we'll explore next. The story of Aston Martin's survival is far from over. In fact, it's just getting started. The company's future is still uncertain. But one thing is clear. Aston Martin's determination to survive is unwavering. They will stop at nothing to succeed. To produce the best cars in the world. To be the best. But at what cost? The company's financial struggles have taken a toll. On the employees, the owners, the investors. Everyone involved has sacrificed something. But will it be enough? Only time will tell. The story of Aston Martin's survival is one of twists and turns. Of ups and downs. Of highs and lows. It's a story of perseverance, of determination, of never giving up. And it's a story that's still being written. The next chapter is about to begin. And it's going to be a wild ride. Aston Martin's future is uncertain. But one thing is clear. They will do whatever it takes to survive. To thrive. To be the best. But what does that mean? What will they have to do to stay ahead? To stay competitive? To stay alive? The answers will have to wait. For now, the story of Aston Martin's survival is one of suspense. Of uncertainty. Of anticipation. What's next for Aston Martin? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. Their story is far from over. And it's going to be a thrilling ride. The company's history is marked by turmoil. But also by triumph. Aston Martin has survived against all odds. And they're still standing. But for how long? That's the question on everyone's mind. The answer will have to wait. For now, let's just say that Aston Martin's story is one of survival. Of perseverance. Of determination. And it's a story that's still being written. The next chapter is about to begin. And it's going to be a wild ride. Aston Martin's future is uncertain. But one thing is clear. They will do whatever it takes to survive. To thrive. To be the best. But what does that mean? What will they have to do to stay ahead? To stay competitive? To stay alive? The answers will have to wait. For now, the story of Aston Martin's survival is one of suspense. Of uncertainty. Of anticipation. What's next for Aston Martin? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. Their story is far from over. And it's going to be a thrilling ride. The company's history is marked by turmoil. But also by triumph. As we delve deeper into the story of Aston Martin, we find a company that has faced more challenges than most. 7 bankruptcies, countless setbacks, and yet, they still managed to produce some of the most iconic and desirable cars in the world. But what's behind this resilience? What drives a company to keep pushing forward, even when all seems lost? The answer lies in the people, the passion, and the pursuit of perfection. Aston Martin's story is not just about cars, it's about the individuals who have dedicated their lives to creating something truly special. From the early days of David Brown, who first bought the company in 1947, to the current owners, who have invested heavily in the brand's future, every person has played a crucial role in shaping the company's destiny. But what happened next, nobody saw coming. The 1990s were a particularly tumultuous time for Aston Martin, with the company changing hands multiple times and struggling to find its footing. But then, in 1994, something remarkable happened. Ford, the American automotive giant, stepped in and acquired a majority stake in the company. This marked a significant turning point in Aston Martin's history, as Ford's resources and expertise helped to stabilize the company and set it on a path towards growth. The DB7, launched in 1993, was the first car to benefit from Ford's involvement, and it proved to be a huge success, helping to re-establish Aston Martin as a major player in the luxury car market. And this is where everything changed. Under Ford's ownership, Aston Martin was able to invest in new technologies, expand its product lineup, and improve its manufacturing processes. The result was a range of cars that were not only stunning to look at but also exceptional to drive. The Vanquish, launched in 2001, was a prime example of this, with its sleek design, powerful V12 engine, and advanced all-wheel drive system. But despite this success, Aston Martin was about to face its biggest challenge yet. The global financial crisis of 2008 hit the company hard, and Ford was forced to sell its stake in the company to keep it afloat. The real reason will shock you. In 2007, a consortium of investors, led by ProDrive's David Richards, purchased Aston Martin from Ford for £479 million. This marked a new era for the company, as it became independent once again and free to forge its own path. But there was one secret nobody knew about. The new owners had a bold plan to take Aston Martin to the next level, by launching a range of new cars, including the highly acclaimed DBS, and expanding into new markets, such as China and the Middle East. What they discovered next changed everything. The launch of the Aston Martin Rapide in 2010 was a major milestone for the company, as it marked a return to the world of four-door cars. The Rapide was a stunningly beautiful car, with its sleek lines, luxurious interior, and powerful V12 engine. It was the perfect vehicle for those who wanted the style and sophistication of an Aston Martin, but also the practicality of a four-door car. But Aston Martin wasn't stopping there. The company had a vision to create a range of cars that would appeal to a wider audience, without compromising on the brand's core values of style, performance, and exclusivity. The result was the Aston Martin Signet, a tiny city car that was based on the Toyota IQ, but with a uniquely Aston Martin twist. It was a bold experiment, but one that ultimately failed to gain traction with customers. But there was one last twist. In 2013, Aston Martin announced a major partnership with Daimler, the parent company of Mercedes-Benz. The deal would see Daimler take a 5% stake in Aston Martin, and provide the company with access to its advanced technologies, including its powerful V8 engines. This was a game-changer for Aston Martin, as it would enable the company to launch a range of new cars, including the highly acclaimed DB11, and compete more effectively with its rivals. The DB11 was a major success, with its sleek design, powerful V8 engine, and advanced all-wheel drive system. It was the perfect vehicle for those who wanted the style and sophistication of an Aston Martin, but also the performance and handling of a true sports car. And this is where the story gets really interesting. Today, Aston Martin is a company on the move, with a range of new cars in development, including the highly anticipated Valhalla hypercar. The Valhalla is a stunningly beautiful car, with its sleek lines, powerful V6 engine, and advanced all-wheel drive system. It's the perfect vehicle for those who want the ultimate driving experience, with the style and sophistication of an Aston Martin. But what's next for Aston Martin? Will the company continue to thrive, or will it face new challenges in the ever-competitive world of luxury cars? The answer, for now, remains uncertain. But one thing is clear, Aston Martin's story is far from over, and the next chapter is about to begin. So, if you want to stay up to date with the latest news and developments from the world of Aston Martin, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. We'll be bringing you all the latest updates, reviews, and analysis, as well as exclusive interviews with the people behind the brand. So, don't miss out, join the conversation and become a part of the Aston Martin community. Like, comment, and subscribe now, and get ready to experience the thrill of Aston Martin like never before.